Okay, this is a video that's going to prove that the FIA are corrupt and that their race directors are both incompetent, negligent and corrupt as well. So for those of you that are new to the channel, you might just think that I'm just jumping on the F1 bandwagon, just becoming a world famous YouTuber that I am with the intention of fighting Mike Tyson at some stage for 40 million. No, I've been campaigning against corruption for a long period of time. I started on Facebook and I was on there for about a year. And I started on Facebook in the aftermath of Abu Dhabi 2021. Prior to that, I was not interested in social media. I had no intention of becoming a world famous YouTuber. And in fact, I hate social media and still do. All I saw was a corrupt event. I saw the lead up to Abu Dhabi, and that was corrupt. But it was blatant race fixing in Abu Dhabi, and I wasn't prepared to stand by and do nothing, especially when all that I was hearing was a pack of lies coming from the media. My initial response was to contact the media and register my protest with them, saying that you're getting this wrong. You seem to be missing the key points here, and you need to be exposing this, this, and this. And if you actually look on my page, you can see the copies of the emails that I sent to that media. I got ignored. So my strategy, based on the knowledge that I had at the time, was to then contact other forms of media who I believed would only be too pleased to expose their rivals as being corrupt. It's only then when you realise that they're all under the same control, the control of billionaires, and it's taken time. And unless you actually are part on this journey yourself, then you will not realise it. You will be you will be a victim of the matrix. That is what it is. We all are, okay? None of us are unplugged. We are all a victim of the information that is being fed to us. Now, understand that. I know it sounds a bit heavy, but that's the truth of it. What you can see on the screen, April the 5th, 2022. I am writing back then about the fact that the FIA race director is effectively and essentially the health and safety officer of motorsport. That's all they are, the health and safety officer, ensuring that that event is being carried out in accordance with the health and safety protocols of the sport, and ensuring that the required regulations are carried out to ensure that that sport is contested according to the regulations. Any refereeing decisions are the call of the stewards. They determine infringements, but it's the race director's role to ensure safety and ensure that the procedures are carried out that not only deal with safety, but are also then ensure that the correct procedures are carried out to ensure that the event is carried out to ensure sporting fairness. So I wrote an article back on the 5th of April 2022, comparing Michael Massey there to the world famous health and safety officer Keith Laird there, who likes his dogs. Some of you might know Keith. If not, have a Google of Keith Laird. You might like Keith Laird. But that's Michael Massey there and their dog. And you can see that some people like to have a comment, and you can see from people's comments their relative understanding. I go on to say, I mean, we can go through various articles. I will just put this down here just so I can easily scroll up. You will see that I was quite prolific in terms of what I was producing. All typed out articles that were shared on numerous Facebook groups, Formula One groups. You can see something like that, 546 reactions. We've got the people that like it, the people that love it, and we've got the strap-on fanboys that like coming to the channel to troll. You see, kids that think you're original coming here to troll. You're not. You know, it's something that I dealt with for the best part of a year prior to you getting involved. So yeah, it's something that I'm well versed with. For those of you that can read, maybe you should have a look at that one, May the 19th, 2022. Okay, maybe you could. Well, you probably won't understand it because over 95% of people will not understand that. But you can try, see if you can understand it. But there's Martin there. So I'm telling you about Martin. Authenticity in human behaviour, congruency and dissonance. I wrote that 31st of May 2022. And we'll scroll up a bit more. Bit of Nicky there. There's the filthy bastard, Christian Horner. There he is, look. Bit of the steward's appeal. So all this time back there, it's not new. It's not new. All of these things. Martin Brundle again. Christian Horner. Illegal flaws. So we were talking about illegal flaws in 2022, weren't we? Bit of Michael Massey again. Martin Brundle lying again. Oh, did anybody see what I did there? Did anybody see what I did? Nobody really did at the time. What are these colours? What does that look like there? Does it remind you of anybody's flag? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't do that for a reason. No, don't worry about that. Don't you worry your little head. Bit about Charlie. Bit about cheating. A bit about being on steroids and being allowed to win. Funny that. October 2022. And then this. Further evidence that the FIA is not fit for purpose. Produced on the 16th of October 2022. What can you see here? FIA and the view out of Pierre Gasly's Formula One car. I did that on the 16th of October 2022. Let's have a look what went on. So the race had actually taken place on the 9th of December 2022, and I'm not a professional journalist, so I just write for fun. So I got round to publishing this on the 16th of October 2022. Let's have a look what the contentious issue was. So, 2022 Japanese Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly starts from the pit lane. The drivers go and do their formation lap. They're waiting on the grid, but rather than put Gasly in the pit lane waiting, his team keep the tyre warmers on, keep him in the dry, and when the race has started, they release him. So I've got to keep some of this off screen, but let's have a look what goes on. Oops. Okay. This is likely to get blocked on copyright. This is what tends to happen. But you'll see the visibility at the Grand Prix is atrocious. You can barely pick out the red flashing lights of the cars in front of him. That isn't safe to be racing. Okay, that is not safe to be racing when the visibility is that poor. This camera is the one that is perched on top of the car. Okay, it's well above Gasly's helmet. So you'll see in a second what's actually the problem. You can see already the visibility is really poor. What can you see? And for those of you that after the Brazilian Grand Prix and were told, oh, it's a masterclass by Max Verstappen, and then he set like 27 fastest laps in the world ever, and nobody else could compete with that. That's because everybody else had got restricted visibility. But when you're out in front, you've got better visibility. So that's why you're going to set the fastest lap.
Can't see.
Pierre can't see.
Can't see a damn thing.
Can't see a damn thing.
Copy, everyone's struggling. Vettel coming back behind.
I wouldn't want to be out there in that.
We have a yellow turn 12. Sainz is off.
So, that first lap, Carlos Sainz has an accident. And what's just hit Gasly's car? One of the advertising boards. Now, look at the location of that board. Look at Gasly's head height underneath this camera. Look at where Gasly is trying to look through his halo, through that centre section of his halo, at this board that is lodged on the front of his car. So Gasly now can't see.
Oh, I took a fucking thing. What the hell is that?
What is that? Indeed. What is that?
Oh my god.
Yes, indeed. Remember, there's a bit of a lag in the audio, so he would have said that probably 3 or 4 seconds before we heard it.
Safety car.
I don't know.
So, safety car is deployed. You will see on the side of the track, you will see the yellow lights with a SC on them.
I got something stuck. I can't see in front of me.
Yeah, it's that thing there, Pierre.
Got a fucking board stuck in the wing.
Okay, box.
Okay, box. Good advice.
I know. I think the wing is off.
See, SC, that's the board flashing on the side of the track. So safety car deployed. Remember, race control are in control of the safety car and how they're going to deal with clearing up Carlos Sainz's incident. That is their responsibility to deal with health and safety.
Box.
Gotta fit the wet. Okay, fit the wet.
Fit the wets, not the intermediates, okay? That's what if you're struggling with conditions, you fit the wet tyre. So George Russell complaining about aquaplaning in Brazil, yeah, fit the wet tyres. And if you can't see, back off. And race control. If you think that visibility is that poor that drivers can't race in it, suspend racing via the use of the virtual safety car. You don't need to wipe out all of the previously built up advantages. You can actually look for 2 or 3 laps to see if that spray is going to disperse, if the rain eases off. You don't jump to the conclusion of just putting out the safety car just because it's got a little bit rainy.
Fit the wet. I'm sorry, I don't know where the car ahead of me is. I can't see. You gotta tell me.
See, the visibility is not so bad now that you're not following in such close proximity, but Gasly can't see because he's got this board right in front of his face.
Where, if I can put... Okay, I can't see, so just let me know where.
So, race control should be aware of this. I have to keep stopping it just to try and get round copyright.
Box.
This is the chicane where this is the one where Charles Leclerc goes off.
Box.
So Gasly into the pits.
We will change the front wing on tires. Don't worry. We will get the...
Apologies, but I have to keep stopping it. Still got this advertising thing stuck on the front. So what's happened is race control has deployed the safety car. Remember, and they've deployed the safety car due to Carlos Sainz having an accident, spinning off and having a crash. They've deployed the safety car. The safety car has been deployed onto track prior to the leader, which may have been Max Verstappen at the time. I honestly don't know, don't care. Prior to them completing the first lap, so the safety car will have picked up the leader as it starts lap 2. Okay? Now, they know that Gasly was pretty much at the back. Gasly's now gone into the pit, so Gasly is losing time on that safety car snake. But once he's been released from the pits, he's then going to try and catch that safety car snake up. He'll have to travel to a delta, which is the maximum speed that they're allowed to travel to in each sector. A limited speed for safety, but it's still faster than safety car lapping speed. And ultimately, he will then catch the back of that safety car snake, which he's entitled to do under the protocols of the safety car procedure. Okay, but clearly he's got this damage. He's got the damaged front wing of his own car. This debris needs removing, and he's going to change, whilst he's at it, he's going to change onto the full wet compounded tyre. So Gasly's not doing anything wrong.
Okay, while we are doing this, can you move to mode 14? On tire switch extreme, mode 14. Tire switch to extreme.
Need to put the headrest.
So, no major pressure because it doesn't really matter how long this pit stop takes, as long as he doesn't get lapped whilst in the pits. Although that being said, he'll probably still be okay. Because he would have been eligible for release. Gone for the full wet tyres now. Green light. Okay, green light. So they know that he is being released onto track. Race control. Okay, green light for the pit lane. It's green for Gasly to return to the track. So 12:09. Let's have a look at what's going on tracker view. So pit exit has got to be somewhere about here, isn't it? Not at turn 1. So if you can see the way the pit lane is there, it merges onto track before turn 1 by the looks of things. The leader up here will have been picked up by the safety car. The rest of the field is bunching. However,
it's absolutely chucking.
Gasly has got to catch the back of the pack. So that's what Gasly is going to do. Okay? So Gasly is allowed to travel to his delta and catch the back of the pack. Pretty straightforward. Race control are aware of that. Let's go back to Gasly. So exiting the pits. See, the visibility is a bit different now.
Okay, Pierre, so we'll be able to put some temperature in there, and we will catch them very soon.
Funny what the difference in visibility is when you're not having to contend with the spray from the cars in front. Oh, maybe you'll be able to do 27 consecutive fastest laps now, just like Brazil, like a masterclass. Who knows? So what we've got is yellow flashing lights on the side of the track that he's passing. They're still saying safety car, but they're yellow flashing lights. So this is what the conditions he's in. Travelling to his delta.
There may be a few cars sitting in, maybe a few cars out.
So he knows what the crack is.
Keep you posted.
Yellow flashing light. Yellow flashing light. Yellow flashing light, safety car, yeah. Gasly's travelling to his delta, not doing anything wrong.
The car ahead is in turn 13.
Yellow flashing light.
Okay, confirmed. We have a few cars gonna pit. A few cars are...
It's just gone red. Right that moment, it's just gone red. So 3, 7. I'm going to go back 10 seconds. You'll see that happen. Okay? Not doing anything wrong. Okay, but this is how quickly it happens.
And the car ahead is in turn 13.
Yellow flashing light, and it'll go solid red.
Okay, confirmed. We have a few cars gonna pit.
There.
A few cars are gonna.
That moment there, it went red. What can you see? Not a lot, but what's this here? What is this here? Where I'm waving my cursor.
Pit, we think.
That there. That's a crane on track. That is a crane on track. In those conditions, in limited visibility, in limited grip conditions, you put a crane on track. This is FIA race control. I'm going to teach you about 2014 Jules Bianchi.
From radio comes. Red flag.
God, what the? Yeah, what
Yeah. Yes, Pierre.
is this tractor? What is this tractor on track?
Red flag.
Oh, it passed next to it, like.
Right, yeah. You could have been dead. You could have been dead.
What is this tractor? What is this tractor on track? Oh, it passed next to it, like. This is unacceptable.
Absolutely right, Pierre. Absolutely right. You see, one of them vehicles that you just passed, Pierre, was one of these. This one wasn't on track. This one was recovering this car here, Adrian Suttil's car, that had gone off into the tyres. And whilst the safety car was deployed in wet conditions at the Japanese Grand Prix in 2014, the same venue, some 8 years earlier, this happens. Look at what's just come into view. I killed a man.
Oh my God!
Now, if I play that back, if I play this back at slow speed, you'll see just how horrific it is. Let's play it here. So look at the marshals as well. Lifts that tractor off its back end, doesn't it? Look at this. It's horrific. That marshal's jumping out the way of it. He's holding a rope or something that's tethered to the front of Suttil's car. This is just before impact. Watch this vehicle here. And tragically, that incident ultimately caused the death of Jules Bianchi in 2014. Absolutely tragic. But it's the sport's responsibility, and that responsibility is fully the responsibility of the FIA as the governing body of the sport, the body that is responsible for organising these events and ensuring that these events are carried out as safely as possible. For them to learn from incidents such as that and to develop their procedures to try and ensure that no such incident is ever repeated. incidents like that can be avoided, and you put in place measures to try and ensure that you do so. At that time, the safety car had already been deployed. This incident clear-up was off the track, and yet still somebody lost control of their car on track, went off the track and into that recovery vehicle, killing them. They didn't die straight away, but that ultimately led to their death. So what do you do? In those conditions where visibility is so poor, when the grip on the track is so poor and you have to clear up an incident, then you slow the cars right down or you red flag it. Okay? When you've got to use a recovery vehicle like that, if you collide with a recovery vehicle like that, it's likely you're going to suffer significant injury or death. So you make sure you take the appropriate measures. It is the responsibility of FIA race control to ensure the safety of all the competitors and all of those marshals that are assisting in that recovery operation. The car that was being recovered, Sutil's car, got dropped from that crane, from that tractor vehicle, that got dropped. That could have quite easily crushed a marshal. They were lucky. You can go and look at the Jules Bianchi crash. There's many videos about it. It's absolutely tragic. 8 years previous to the 2022 Japanese Grand Prix, the FIA changed their protocols, will have been aware of this, are responsible for ensuring the safety of people. And what did we just see at the 2022 Japanese Grand Prix? Race control has allowed one of these vehicles to be on track when they know that Pierre Gasly is lapping around that track to his Delta, completely unaware that there's a recovery vehicle on track, in limited visibility, in limited grip conditions that they know Carlos Sainz has lost control in and gone off, causing the accident in the first place, and race control have enabled Gasly to go around that track, driving to his Delta, which he was doing, and they've deployed that vehicle on track. That is their gross negligence. That is entirely the fault of FIA race control. Entirely the fault of FIA race control. They should not allow that vehicle on track, at least until all of the cars are being gathered by that safety car, at least until all of the cars are aware of it, at least until all of the cars are aware that there is that vehicle on track performing that recovery operation at that location, and the safety car slows them all down to a really slow speed as they pass that incident for maximum safety. That is the minimum that should happen, if not a red flag. They didn't do so. You saw when they deployed the red flag, a fraction of a second, or 1 or 2 seconds prior to Gasly being at that scene, completely unaware. Completely unaware. That is disgusting. What did the FIA do about it? This was the race director at the time, Eduardo Freitas. So he shared the role with Niels Vitic, the guy that's just been sacked. Okay, and at the Japanese Grand Prix, it was his turn to be the race director. And after the Japanese Grand Prix, the FIA announced to the world that what they were going to do is stop alternating the race directors and just decide that actually for consistency, we're just going to use one race director for the remainder of the season. That is what they told us. That is what they told us. Oh, for consistency, we're just going to use the one race director. Nothing to do with gross negligence. And this is what they actually then did. The stewards. Yeah, the band of stewards protecting their own. The FIA. The stewards. Connolly, Holter, 2 of the corrupt 4 from Abu Dhabi 2021. Mika Salo, just happy to be there, happy to be on the F1 gravy train, loving it. So, the stewards, having received a report from the race director, so the race director, who is negligent, reports Gasly to the stewards. Summoned, document 43, and heard from the driver and team representative, have considered the following matter and determined the following: that Pierre Gasly was speeding under red flag conditions. That is what they have convicted Gasly of. Speeding under red flag conditions. You filthy bastards. Absolute filthy bastards. Breach of Article 57.2 of the FIA Formula 1 sporting regulations. They gave him a drive-through penalty imposed at the end of the race, 20 seconds added to elapsed race time, and 2 penalty points on his super license. That is filthy. The stewards heard from the driver of car 10, Pierre Gasly, and team representative, and reviewed the video and telemetry evidence. I've just showed you the video evidence. Gasly is lapping to his delta, rightfully and permissibly trying to catch the back of that safety car snake under safety car conditions. And just the fraction of seconds before he passes that crane on track, does the red flag appear. And they are blaming him for that. That is obscene. After passing the scene of the incident, car 10 continued under the red flag situation at speeds which exceeded 200 kilometers per hour on multiple occasions, and which reached 251 kilometers an hour at one point. So they're saying, oh, after he's passed this, do you not think that that guy's heart is racing? Do you not think that that has actually panicked him? He knows it's a red flag. He knows he's now got to come back to the pits. You've just endangered his life. And you're blaming him. You gaslighting, filthy bastards. The driver conceded that he now understood that there could have been marshals or obstacles on the track, and admitted that he was too fast. Yeah, he was driving to his delta. However, in mitigation of penalty, oh, they've only gone light on him, have they? We take into account that although the speed could not be by any measure be regarded as slow, as required in the regulations, it was slower than the maximum speed that could have been achieved under these conditions. No, so he was under the delta speed. He was lower than what he needed to be, than what was permissible in accordance with the regulations. So he wasn't breaching the regulations, was he? No. No. It was slower than the maximum speed that could be achieved under these conditions. We also take into account the shock the driver experienced on seeing a truck on the racing line in the corner of the incident. Oh, you take that into account, do you? You don't accept responsibility, you project the blame on him. Competitors are reminded they have a right to appeal certain decisions of the stewards in accordance with Article 15 of the FIA Sporting Code and Chapter 4 of the FIA... Yeah. You've got a right to appeal, but unless you can produce new evidence, we don't change anything. That's our rules, but we'll still charge you for the appeal because you're corrupt bastards. Your race director was guilty of gross misconduct, gross negligence that could have easily have caused loss of life. Hence, you moved him aside, didn't you? You told the world, oh, for consistency, we're just going to use the other guy now. You're not going to highlight that guy's failings, are you? And you're going to project blame on Gasly for that. That's filthy. That is filthy. So from then onwards, Niels Wittich took over as race director and has been the race director ever since, I believe. And he's just been sacked. Was this off the back of Brazil 2024? When during that race, the rain got harder. They had a virtual safety car period whereby the McLaren of Lando Norris, the Mercedes of George Russell, tried to pit during that virtual safety car. It just ended as they actually entered the pit lane, so they didn't really get the benefit of it, which they hoped they would. But they pitted under that for some fresh inters. Went back out on track. George Russell is complaining of lack of grip and of aquaplaning and of poor visibility, which it was because the rain had got heavier and hence the spray was worse. But in such conditions, you as a driver are responsible for driving appropriately. And that is either reduce your speed to a speed where visibility is what is safe that you can actually see, and make sure you're on the right tyres that afford you the correct grip. The intervention of race control on the grounds of safety should be such that if you feel that the visibility is so poor for racing to be carried out and the drivers aren't actually taking responsibility themselves by slowing to an appropriate speed and hence are likely to be involved in unwarranted, unnecessary incidents due to their recklessness, then as a race director, what you should be doing is in the first instance is saying, I'm going to intervene with a virtual safety car. Stop racing. Drive to a delta, and whilst this heavy rain is on, and whilst the spray is increased, and whilst the visibility is atrocious, you're not going to be racing. And we'll do this for a lap or two and see what happens. And if the rain then recedes, if the visibility improves, then we will continue the race. Nobody will have lost any ground. Nobody will have lost the advantages that they've built up. The race director didn't do that. The race director, what he did was deploy the safety car. Oh, it's raining a bit. We'll deploy the safety car. Everybody's advantages that have been built up, we'll wipe them all out. And we'll start the race from scratch again, just because it's been raining for a little bit. So we're on about lap 30-ish. And we start lapping behind the safety car. And then 2 laps later, the Williams car of Colapinto crashes whilst under safety car conditions. And then they red flag it. I've got no issues with the red flag. It enabled Max to get a free pit stop. That's the way things work, okay? That's the way it goes. Ultimately, we're in a similar situation where they needed a recovery vehicle on track. The grip conditions for those cars were evidently poor, so cars weren't in full control all of the time, because you could evidence that through the number of cars that were spinning off the track. You couldn't necessarily see what was on the track, and you didn't want to all of a sudden come across a crane being in the line that you're trying to drive on. And by attempting to swerve out of the way of it, you lose control and smash into the crane. So I've got no issues with a red flag. I mean, like I say, what could have happened is they could have ensured that the cars were all fully collected by the safety car and were all travelling at a slow enough speed so that that was not a safety issue. However, it's highly likely that cars would have been passing the scene of the Colapinto crash, that stricken car, prior to all bunching behind the safety car. Hence, that was a massive danger. Hence, stopping them was the right thing to do. So I don't have an issue with the red flag situation at Brazil 2024. The problem was putting the safety car out 2 laps earlier than that crash, wiping out all of the previously built up advantages. The sporting advantages, the sporting fairness, them valid advantages built up by those competitors, all wiped out just because it's raining. That's not okay. That's not okay. Ultimately, it was all nullified by the red flag anyway. Ultimately, the cars that didn't pit, that didn't try to get the benefit of a cheaper pit stop during that virtual safety car and stayed out on track for longer, and then actually the red flag intervened and they could then change their tyres under the red flag conditions, a rule that probably needs looking at. The whole situation needs looking at, because that enables some cars to get an unfair advantage. Those are the regulations that the teams are competing to. Max Verstappen, Esteban Ocon, and Gasly got the benefit of that in Brazil. That's the way it is. Fine. Congratulations. No issues with that. But then don't describe that as being a masterclass. When Max has been able to pass Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, George Russell, by virtue of the fact they all pitted and then Max never had to pit himself, that's not a masterclass. That is not beating your fellow rivals in them conditions due to your driving skill. That wasn't that. And yet the world's Formula One media want to present that as some sort of brilliance from Max Verstappen. That is the beneficiary of the set of circumstances. But this is the corruption of Formula One. In order to get popularity in Formula One, you've got to fluff Max Verstappen. You've got to suck off Max Verstappen in order to be popular. And this is what the nature of it is. And they want to then present this guy as being the best we've ever seen. And he's not. He just isn't. Every single one of his championships is fake. 2021 was enabled. The number of manoeuvres during that 2021 season which were illegal and went unpunished, enabled. The fix of the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix gifted him that title. 2022, the car was developed under the cost cap which Red Bull breached. That was then improved upon in 2023, having already had the benefit of effectively competing on steroids in 2022, with the benefit of having been able to spend millions more on the development of that car, with Honda having supposedly detached themselves from Formula One, gone away and then returned to Formula One. So were they developing their engine away from the sport, not subject to cost cap conditions, spending as much as they wanted on that to then make that 2023 car supremely fast, an absolute rocket ship compared to everything else. But they gaslight us all into believing that the reason that is because Adrian Newey's the genius. And the reason it's because the car is so aerodynamically efficient, not super powerful. It's the aerodynamic efficiency. 2024, the car starts off as a rocket ship, massively faster than everything else. But the moment that it's not massively faster than everything else, Max starts crashing again. Max starts driving into people again. Max starts driving cars off the track again. Funny that as soon as the going gets tough, Max can't get going, can he? No, tough guy is Max. Tough guy. No, but as soon as you take off the asymmetric braking device, the cheat device from Adrian Newey's genius, and as soon as you take off this ride height adjuster, the cheat device from Adrian Newey's genius, oh, funny how the Red Bull car is no longer fast. Oh, it's still fast enough to get on the front row of the grid at most Grand Prix, but Max can't drive a Grand Prix distance and finish in the top, well, on the top step of the podium, can he? Until the masterclass, the so-called masterclass of Brazil. Yeah, that one, where he got the free pit stop and saved 20 seconds, got himself in the lead by only effectively having to overtake an Alpine that was just happy to be there, and then had the benefit of clear visibility for the remainder of the race. And I showed you at the start of this, when Gasly hasn't got the clear visibility, what drivers are experiencing? You think you're going to be doing fast laps after fast lap after fast lap in those conditions? You're not, are you? You're not. It's a filthy sport. It's a filthy narrative. It's filthy media. Who's calling it out? Who's telling the truth? Who's telling it how it is? This isn't new. This isn't new. 16th of October 2022. This is me. Back then, this page was called Change Formula One 2021. Lewis Hamilton is the true and valid champion. That is what my Facebook page began as. It accrued a following of 2,700 at one stage. Here they are, the Musketeers. So here you see, this one here is Flavio Briatore. He's corrupt. He is the man who masterminded Crashgate. He got a lifetime ban from Formula One. He's back working for the Alpine team now after the lifetime ban. How does that work then? Here's Christian Horner, Mr. Corruption himself. Here's Mohammed Ben Sulayem, the new head of the FIA after Jean Todt who was the guy that was in charge at Abu Dhabi 2021, 7 days later, he washed his hands. Oh, we're no longer part of the sport now, 7 days after the fix. This one here is Stefano Domenicali, the head of F1. And this one here is Greg Maffei, the head of Liberty Media. The owner of Liberty Media is JC Malone. And ultimately, Liberty Media are owned by the likes of Vanguard and BlackRock, who have also all got like 10%-ish shareholding of the likes of Liberty Media and every other form of media, which is why you never hear the truth. They've also got shareholdings of Meta, Facebook and Instagram, which is why, despite this page having a following, when I scroll to the top here, that there's supposedly the law court's justice, that seems to be corrupted as well, sadly. This page had a following of 2,600, wait, it was 2,700 followers at one point. It's now down to 2,600 followers. When I post something on here now, which was the last one I bothered posting on here, I got 18 reactions. 18 reactions from a following of 2,600. How many of those 2,600 get to see these posts now, Meta, Facebook? Is that because you're also owned by Vanguard and BlackRock, those who control the narrative, control the media, and the media tell us what they want us to believe, their version of the truth? Yeah. And that's why this video won't meet the YouTube algorithm. Oh, the algorithm will only make sure that this video only gets seen by about 1,000 people. Yeah, only 1,000 people will see this because it's the algorithm. No, it's not censorship of wanting to suppress the truth. But that 1,000 will make me have to think, oh, maybe it's because people don't like my video. Maybe it's I'm doing things wrong. Maybe I'm not bigging up Max Verstappen enough. So maybe I have to turn myself into a Max Verstappen fluffer and then I get more views. Oh, that's what I'll start doing. Just like Cameron F1, I'll start sucking Max Verstappen's dick and then I get more subscribers and more views. No thanks. No thanks. Anyway, if you want to, well, I'm not going to write anything on there anytime soon, I don't think, but stick with this channel if you want to hear what's truthful. That'll do on this one. Thank you for your time.